Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Rangers Review morning briefing. It is Friday, the 24th of October. It's the morning after the debacle before. We're going to dive into Rangers' 3-0 humbling by Brann in the Europa League to leave them bottom in the competition. It really is deplorable stuff. To join me to look back on a miserable night in Norway, Blair Malloy joins us. How goes it, Blair?
Morning, Derek. Yeah, I think deplorable is the right word. It's just another chaotic night in this season for Rangers. It feels like a long season already, and we're not even out of October yet.
Yeah.
I think I put on X last night. These opening three games of the Europa League are games that in previous years gone by, Rangers would have comfortably won, absolutely comfortably won. And the fact we're sitting here now, bottom of the Europa League table, is damning stuff.
Yeah, Jimmy Brown in Oslo Airport, which is where, as you can see, Chris is at this moment in time, waiting for his flight back to Blighty. Chris, you were at the game last night. I felt sorry for you, I've got to say. What's your morning been like? And certainly we'll get your thoughts on what unfolded at the Brann Stadium, but not good reading.
No, not at all. And there are many words for people to read. I have my analysis on the site from last night, full Q&A from the press conference with Danny Rule, and a really interesting interview with James Tavernier as well. Over the course of the day, we will have an interview with Conor Barron, if that's your thing. And tomorrow night, there's another interview with the manager, which is a bit more positive and a bit more upbeat, thankfully, because everything about this game is just utterly dreadful. And James Tavernier last night called it disgraceful, and you can't argue with that. I saw a couple of fans at the airport in Bergen this morning, including your pal Jamie from the Widow, Derek. He was asking for you, and we're just, all the conversations you have with the punters are just exactly the same. They're putting time, money, effort into going and watching this side, and they're not getting anything back in return. You have to take your hat off to them for still making these trips and still putting the effort in, and not just for the European games. Like guys travelling hours and hours every match day to go and watch this side, and what they're being served up right now is far from acceptable.
Tell you what, every single supporter that made their way over to that game should be refunded. If Rangers can afford to splash 10 million quid on Yusuf Chermiti, they can afford to reimburse the fans that paid hard-earned money to go and watch that last night. So over to you, Rangers, on that one. Before we dive in, a quick word for our podcast sponsors, Willows Fencing, the great guys at the Glasgow-based fencing company you can trust. Proud partners of the Rangers Review. If you're looking for a new fence, these are the guys to call. They offer free consultations, whether it's a small-scale job or a large one. They will carry it out, and you'll also get 10% off if you use the code Rangers Review over on their website, which is willows-fencing.com. We'll get your thoughts on it first. Chris will be leaving us around about 10 to 10 when he's set to board his flight. But watching that unfold last night, Blair, so much to unpack now. I was on with Johnny on the full-time whistle, so I said my piece last night. I'm sure we'll go over it again, but since then, Danny Rule came out. Chris posted that video last night of him heading over to the away section to go and speak to the fans, which fair play to him. He also, there's a clip of him, an image of him speaking to the fans at the airport last night as well. So he's fronting up, and I respect him for that. Last night was not on him. He's only been in the job 5 minutes, so I'm not pointing the finger at him on this one. He's got a hell of a job on his hands. Also seen a clip doing the rounds, of course, of Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart being subjected to irate supporters, and you can understand again why the fans are not best pleased at those two, making their feelings clear to those two in the airport last night as well. What did you make of what you witnessed? And of course, the aftermath, I guess, after the game.
There's a whole lot to unpack, Derek, isn't there?
Yeah.
From what happened on the park to what happened off it. I think I'll start backwards a little bit if I can. And the anger towards Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart. I've said this quite a lot over the past few weeks since Russell Martin was sacked. removing Russell Martin does not remove the anger round about Rangers Football Club at the minute. It does not solve all of the problems, and it was never going to. I think you see the irate reaction of fans at the full-time whistle last night, and in the airport, they are still firmly directing this towards those higher up at the club because they have no trust in them anymore. They have no faith in them anymore to make the right decisions, and they actively believe that the decisions they're making is harming the football club. Now, I don't think they're doing it deliberately. I don't think they're making bad choices deliberately, but it just seems to be one thing after another that just isn't falling in place for them. And then when that's not matched on the park, it snowballs. As far as what happened on the park last night, I think the players should not be devoid of any responsibility here. They are absolutely at the heart of this matter as well. That was a shocking performance by the 11 that were put out on that park last night. I think some of the defending was woeful. It just looked completely all over the place. Up front, I know we'll come on to Yusuf Chermiti a bit later on, but rather than, I don't want to berate the young boy because I don't really think that helps anybody going forward, but at the very best, he's not ready to play in this team. He's not ready to lead the line in Europe, and I think that was abundantly clear last night watching that game. And like I said at the top of the show, these 3 opening games in this Europa League campaign are games that under Steven Gerrard, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, Philippe Clement, even Michael Beale, Rangers would have won. I would say all of these games in previous years gone by. I really don't doubt that. And the fact that they've not looked like winning any of them, they've not been close in any of them. And just looking at that table is really, really grim reading. And you see how far Rangers have regressed to where Steven Gerrard built them up into a European force. They have now fallen so far from that.
Yeah, Chris, you were in the stadium last night. Got to say it the Brann fans were all-in in the midway through the second half. They were singing chants that directed at Danny Rule saying he's getting sacked in the morning. Of course, it was tongue-in-cheek stuff, but they were reveling in it. What was it like to be there and witness that? Because that was a Rangers performance. It was gutless, lacking in fight, desire, everything that is required from Rangers, and there was no positive to take last night from that.
No, there wasn't. I think a number of these players, they have had criticism, of course they have, over the course of the season. But I think the focus and the amount of time that we spent talking about Russell Martin and writing about Russell Martin and his feelings and where it was going wrong for him, I think that shielded a lot of these players from criticism and a bit of spotlight on themselves. You get the usual lines of it's up to us, we step over the white line, you have to look at yourself individually. Of course you do, but that's going for almost every single player in that squad. I think the comments from Jack Butland and James Tavernier over the last couple of days, I thought Stevie Smithgate hinted at it a bit at the weekend as well. There's clearly doubts over the mentality of these players, or too many of these players. Mentality is a word that Rangers fans use a lot. We speak about it a lot, but it's a non-negotiable. At a football club like this, you simply have to have the right bottle. Do you have what it takes? You can be technically very good.
Yeah.
You can run quickly. You can be good at the ball at your feet. You can be big and strong. If you don't have the mentality, you're never going to succeed here. The problem with this group is they don't have the mentality and those aspects. Those other traits that I've just listed there, they don't have them either. There's too many players in this squad that are just so unequipped to be Rangers footballers and to be successful in a European side and a domestic side. So the recruitment is also really under the spotlight at present. Danny Rowe has to get a pass for that last night. Not his fault at all. I actually think over the course of the week and over the course of the trip, he's come out of it really well. I think he's struck the right tone.
Yeah.
I think he's come across as a really impressive character. I think he's handled everything really well. He would have been, I think, surprised at just how bad this group of players is last night. He's got an awful lot of work to do. But ultimately, if the players don't have those basics, there's only so much that a manager can do. There's only so much that he's going to be able to get out of a group that right now just doesn't look anywhere near good enough.
Yeah. For anyone expecting a quick fix, I'm not expecting that at this point in time. I think you need to give the new boss up until, well, including January, he needs to have a big say in players that come in and also players that need to leave the football club. Major surgery required in January. When he was at Sheffield Wednesday, I made this point last night. He lost 5 of his opening 6 league games. So anyone expecting him to come in and suddenly things will be magically better, I fear that it may be wrong on that front. Lots of comments, as you can imagine, coming in. RL7 says, I hate this team group of losers, which I can't really disagree with much of that. Blue Nose Sparky says, embarrassing, weak, gutless, pathetic, incompetent. Kevin Thelwell cannot have another transfer window. And just stating the disparity between both clubs last night, Mr. Big Bertie says Brann's biggest transfer outlay, 650 grand. So there you go. Dave Filter with a point, and I wanted to touch on this. As you guys have mentioned, he said, I've not seen Tav so visibly angry in an interview when he spoke to the press in the mix zone last night. This is what he had to say, folks.
It's simple as that. It's all the years I've been here, you know, it's for the consistency of poor performance that we're putting in. I've not experienced it before. You know, some of us show our aggression after the games, after we get beat. You expect all the lads to take that in, but all individually we have to look at ourselves much harder, because it's, you know, you can get instructions from managers, but we simply have to put that on the pitch, and we were just second best, first ball, second balls, you know, not enough fight. And I shouldn't be saying that for a player of Rangers. You know, that should be the given. You should want to fight, go for the ball. You know, even if it's a scrappy game, you've got to make it a scrappy game. But it's just far too easy at this minute playing against us, and that's the hurtful thing about this all. Oh, I'm raging. This is what I'm saying. It's like first time I've been in this position, been at this club, and this amount of consistent games that we've been to certain basic levels that we've not been performing at, and that's what's making me rage. It's the amount of chats that we've had after games. You know, you want it to sink into players, but it just isn't at the minute, and that's what I'm raging at.
There you go, Blair. James Tavernier making his feelings clear. He's not the only one that's voiced words like that this season. Jack Butland is another, of course. Now, he was at fault. He was culpable for the first goal. Tav wasn't the only one, but he never had a good game last night. There weren't many. However, his words are extremely alarming for me. It's not the first time we've heard words of this to this effect from him this season. This is probably easily the worst squad he's been a part of since he's been here, which is even more concerning given the huge outlay that has been spent bringing some of these players into the club. What do you make of what he had to say?
This is the second time this season that I've seen James Tavernier that animated and that angry. I think there was always a perception with the captain that he didn't really speak his mind in press conferences. He's always very composed, always very calm, but you could see it again last night, and he admitted it himself. He was angry, he was raging, and you could see that that is directed towards some in his team who he obviously just believes aren't picking up quickly enough what it takes to be a player here, and whether it is mentality, whether it's ability, where that comes from, we don't know. We're not in the building, but it seemed to be a similar tone that was echoed by Jack Butland at the weekend, who would just look so frustrated with what he's seen in front of him now. James Tavernier's not without his faults. I think he was solely missing it, the first goal last night, and we know that he has been culpable many times over his Rangers career. But he's also been part of really good Rangers teams, and good Rangers teams that have won things. And he knows what it's like to be in a team that can go and get big results. He knows what it's like to go and get to a European final, for example. So I think on your point earlier there, he will have seen, just like the rest of us, that this team has regressed. This Rangers team has got worse from last year. And I think when you look, as you said, the amount of money that's been put in, the spending power that Rangers supposedly had in the summer, how they've got to that point is extremely frustrating for everybody.
Yeah. Chris, just before you start boarding your plane, Tav's comments last night and where Rangers go from here. We've got Kilmarnock at the weekend. I do not think that is going to be easy. Hibs in midweek, and then the big semi-final a week on Sunday. Games coming thick and fast. I can't see Rangers winning any of those at this point, I've got to say.
It's hard to back them to win a game. I did last night. I thought they would get through it last night because, perhaps foolishly, I expected some form of reaction. I thought they would.
Yeah.
I thought they would show something that they've not shown so far this season. I thought they would kind of step out their shell a wee bit after Russell Martin's departure, that they would have a point to prove, that they would want to try and impress the new head coach. All they did was reaffirm what the fans have been saying for so long about a number of them. So having not seen that reaction that I expected last night, you can't back them to go and win any game right now. That was the game. If they're going to win one, if there's going to be a starting point, a turning point, it looked like last night. As Blair said earlier on, Brann are not a very accomplished side. No, they are what they are. All three teams that Rangers have faced this season in this competition, they should have beaten them. It was a real opportunity for them last night, I said, to kind of throw off some of the negativity, but they were nowhere near good enough, didn't look like doing it. And that interview from Tav, I think, is really, really interesting. We've seen him, and he's got this captain disappointed tag. I think he's fallen into that trap a few times after these big game defeats. But a couple of times he's spoken now. It's unlike him to be that animated, to look that scunnered with the whole situation, to look that upset. Now, it's not very often that he uses words like disgraceful and raging. So I think that gives you a real insight into the mentality of this dressing room. You can imagine the likes of him, certainly likes of Jack Butland being in there. I can imagine Nico Raskin being a very vocal presence in there. Again, another player who has been nowhere near good enough of late, it has to be said. But you can think of the players who you imagine being really big presence in that dressing room. Not many of the summer signings. Who out of the guys that have been brought into this club in the summer can you imagine going in there last night saying, "Shut that door, sit down, shut up, let's get this sorted"? Yeah. Too many of them just don't have it. It's a Rangers team in name because they've got that badge on their chest. It's not a Rangers team in any other way, though, is it?
No, it is not. Right, Chris, we'll bid you farewell. Enjoy your flight home. But are you flying straight to Scotland from Oslo, or?
Thankfully, I don't have another stop on my journey. Run on the go since 5 o'clock this morning. So no, straight into Edinburgh, up the road. All the work is done for the day, hopefully. So if Rangers could avoid any nonsense over the course of a Friday afternoon, that'd be smashing. And I'll reconvene with Josh on Sunday at Ibrox for what will be the latest instalment in this interesting campaign.
Yeah, well, safe journey home, Chris. Thank you for your sterling work as ever. Let's get to some the points that are coming in, because as you can imagine, we're inundated with these points. Something that me and Johnny discussed last night. Paul with the point says, Derek, should we bring in some free signings now? The opportunity for that for me was when the window closed and a chance for Rangers to, certainly I said at the time, they should have bolstered the left back position. I think it's quite telling that Andrew Kavanagh referenced that in the unveiling of Danny Rule recently. That is a failing of Kevin Thelwell. Again, one of a number of failings from him. The issue with free agents at this point, unless they've been trading like beasts, to use the infamous Russell Martin term, then they're going to be well off match pace. And the time you get them up to speed, is it any worthwhile bringing them in? But there are a few experienced heads in there that Rangers should, you'd imagine, given that the footballing department for me is failing on a spectacular level, so I can't assume anything, but there are a few in there that would come in and walk into that Rangers team at this point in time. Free agents, is that something that Rangers, is that the state of play that we're in at the moment? Blair, should they be considering free agents at this point?
I mean, I posted a list of current free agents on X last night, just as a little bit of a talking point, just to show people what's available and what's out there. And there's a fair few names in there that I think would do a job at Rangers. I definitely agree with you. I think the left back situation, and it's so frustrating because I think we all seen it coming. We all seen this coming in the summer. We We knew his left backs when Jeffrey was being sold, when Ridvan was being sold, and then Jayden Magoma comes in on loan, and you're waiting on another player coming in. You're waiting on an experienced left back being signed, and you're thinking to yourself, and I'm sure we said it at the time, Jayden Magoma could be a good player, and in flashes he has shown that he is a good player, but is exactly what I expect a player of his age to be. He has good moments, he has moments of really good potential, but he also has a mistake in him because he's a young boy and he's learning the game, and that's completely understandable. It is not his fault that he has been tasked with being Rangers' starting left back. That is a failing in the recruitment department, and this is the exact same thing that happened with Jeffrey. Jeffrey gets so much stick over the last year and a half because he was forced to play too much football. He wasn't ready for it. He wasn't in the right sort of development schedule for him to play that many games. He should have been like drip fed into the team. It's the phrase I'm looking for. The same with Jayden Magoma. I think if you have a good left back and Magoma rotating in there, I think you've got a lot of options there. I think as well, Rangers are crying out for somebody in the middle of the park. I think that you seen Joe Rothwell last night failing non-existent. I think he's been a major disappointment since he came into the club. I think that Rangers really need somebody who can take the game by the scruff of the neck in the middle of the park, put their foot in the ball, and just calm everything down. And then you look at the centre forward position, and this is the point of contention for all Rangers fans this season. It's caused so much debate, this centre forward position. Now, I know on the one hand, the style of play that Rangers play, the centre forward doesn't get a lot of the ball, doesn't see a lot of the ball, so it is hard to criticise them too much. But you look at Yusuf Chermite last night, and as I said earlier, he is a very, very expensive player who, at best, is not ready to play in a team like this or not ready to play in environments like this. And to play devil's advocate, Kevin Thelwell says that Yusuf Chermite in years to come will be so good that Rangers wouldn't have been able to afford them. He'd be trading at a level that Rangers wouldn't be at. To play devil's advocate, maybe that is true, but he's not there yet. He's not there just now. And unfortunately, the current state that Rangers are in, this is not the environment to get players to that level because the fans don't have the patience for it. The situation doesn't, the circumstances don't allow for it. If you're going to develop a player like Yusuf Chermite, you need to make sure you get somebody in there who's going to score goals at the same time. Because the more that Yusuf Chermite is thrust in, the more pressure that's on him, and just the harder and more stagnated it's going to be for him to get to any potential that he does have.
The point when you just said that on Chermite, what Thelwell said, if he's that good and Rangers wouldn't be able to afford him in years to come, why are Everton happy to take a bit of a loss on him? Tell me why there's not clubs.
I mean, from a completely layman's point of view, you look at that and go, why, if that is a player who they believe to have a high potential, have they then went, you know what, we're quite happy to write this one off to a mistake and Rangers pick up on it. Now, again, I don't want to write the boy off. I don't want to berate Yusuf Chermite. He's only a young boy. He's still got a lot of learning to do in the game. But from everything we've seen so far, I don't think you can thrust him into that position because it's not fair on the lad because he's obviously not ready to be there.
I'm writing him off at Rangers, incidentally. I think he can maybe carve a career somewhere else, but it's not going to happen at Rangers, and it's a hill that Kevin Thelwell is prepared to die on, and it's a huge costly error. It really is. If you're wanting to get someone, I know Andrew Kavanagh mentioned the sort of physical type, and they cost a lot of money. You could have went and brought Robbie Ure back in. He's a similar physical build. I'm sure it would have cost a fraction of the price that went and spent on Yusuf Chermite, and I'd bet everything I own he would have found the back of the net before now. So, it's nowhere near ready to lead the line for Rangers. And again, that's a major failing on Kevin Thelwell.
Interestingly, on that, from that point the other day where Kevin Thelwell said, he repeated that similar line that we heard about Hamza Agaman before, that we wouldn't have been able to afford them in years to come. But the difference is, as soon as Hamza Agaman got on the park, he was very raw. He was all over the place. But instantly, you went, this boy's got something. Instantly. From almost his first touch of the ball, you went, oh, this boy got something. And that only built and built and built. And even after a few games, you went, all right, this boy could be special, because you could see it wasn't there yet. It wasn't fully formed. It wasn't developed. It was shown in flashes. It was a wee 10 seconds here. It was a wee 30 seconds here. But there was really something there for the fans to hang on to. Unfortunately, with Yusuf Chermiti, there's just been nothing as yet. And he's had a fair few games in the Rangers jersey now, and we've not seen anything.
No, I would do similar to when Slavia Prague bought Abdallah Sima. They immediately punted him out to their B team to sort of gain experience and get his confidence up. I would legitimately consider that for Rangers. I know they've got partnership agreements with a couple of clubs in the lower leagues. I would be thinking, I'd be phoning Stirling Albion, Alloa. Maybe not the level for Rafe Rovers, and I'm being deadly serious, but I'll be phoning them saying I'm going to take Yusuf for a month or two, try and build him up, and we'll take him back and have a look at him, because at this moment in time, he cannot be leading the line for Rangers. It should be between Miovski and Danilo at this point in time. If Danny Röhl can get a tune out of him, then he is an absolute magician, because I just can't see it. Incidentally, talking about Hamza Egeman, scored another beauty for Lille last night. He's really doing well over there in France. Incidentally, I've seen some on social media saying, oh, we swapped Egeman for Chermiti. Problem is, Hamza Egeman wanted to leave at that point. So when a player has set his mind on departing, there's very little you can do on that front other than try and get as big a transfer fee as you possibly can. Just on the left back, James with the point, and Johnny brought this up last night. He says, does Dujon play left back or centre back? He can do, yes, and when he is fit, and that is something we have uttered too many times since he arrived at Rangers. He walks into that team, but when that will be, who knows? But yeah, it really is a sorry state of affairs. For me, I know Andrew Kavanagh came out in that press conference last week. Well, this week, of course, losing track of the days, says Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thelwell has his full support. I think publicly he's saying that. Of course, he's not going to come out and say they don't. I think behind the scenes, surely he's not happy at the performance of those two. And as he said, with regards to Russell Martin, the three things he said that with regards to the start and Rangers' poor performance, he says you need to own it, acknowledge it, and rectify it. Well, I think that applies to those two in particular, probably the whole footballing department at this point in time, because that is failing Rangers massively, to the point now where you're trying to look ahead to what is salvageable this season. Forget the Europa League, that's gone now. No chance of winning the league for me. Rangers are in a race for third. If they can manage to beat Celtic next Sunday, then happy days. But it's all about cups now and trying to get into a Conference League qualifier, Blair. That's where I'm at with this Rangers setup. As I touched on earlier, it needs major surgery in January. And I have zero confidence if Kevin Thelwell is at the top of the tree looking to bring players in. I have zero confidence that he knows a Rangers player if it's staring him in the face to go and not only bring Rangers up to a level to compete, but to put Rangers back on top, which is what we all want, which we all thought would be the case when the new ownership came in the summer. Yes, certainly for myself, I thought, okay, these guys, they'll be spending a bit of money and Rangers will finally be part of a title race that will go to at least the business end of the season. But the season's been written off and was written off some time ago for me. But your thoughts on the whole overall footballing department, where Rangers go from here?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of people will agree with you that Andrew Kavanagh came out in the week and said that there will be money to spend in January. And he essentially said that the initial money they put in was just a starter fund, and if they need to go again, he will go again. Now, I'm not Andrew Kavanagh. I don't know what goes on inside the board meetings. I don't know what goes on in his own personal world. It would be interesting to me to see what progresses between now and Christmas to whether he is comfortable giving the current incumbents more money to spend to give them an opportunity to rectify this, or whether they have had their chance in the summer and that's it. No, I think that'll be very telling as to what the long-term future holds for the current board of this club. If Andrew Kavanagh trusts Kevin Thelwell and Patrick Stewart and everyone that's at the club just now, if he trusts them with more of his money in January, then I think he is all in on this board. But I think he has to see dramatic improvement between now and Christmas. I think for to go there, because like you say, I think that'll be an opinion shared by a lot of the Rangers support, that they won't have the trust in the current board to go and spend any more money wisely in January, because there has been so many failings in the summer transfer window. I think that Jedi Gisama is probably the only signing that's even came close to working, and even at that, he is rapidly dropping off in a lot of games. And I think that he started off well, but hasn't really shown a lot since those few flashes in the beginning. So it's really hard to pick out any of the signings that are really getting pass marks at the moment. So it'll be very interesting to see if Andrew Kavanagh, the chairman, trusts the current incumbents with more money this January.
Yep. A few suggesting Chris and many others has employed Davy Weir before January. I would be I would be on the phone to Davy Weir. I know he was on Sky recently, wasn't he? Was it the Falkirk game that he covered? He's been out of work since leaving Brighton. That is the sort of guy that Rangers should be bringing into the club. A guy that has lived and breathed at Rangers, know what it takes to win at a club like this. Led by example, and knows his stuff with regards to recruitment. I would be all over that. But
I'll tell you right now, go and get David Weir before Hearts get him, because that's where he'll go.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
Tony Bloom will see that he's obviously got a track record. He's obviously a good operator, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him go to his other old club.
Yeah. So it's hard to. It's hard to look on where the positives could emerge for Rangers at this point. Certainly, come the January transfer window, the issue of recruitment is massive. In terms of the loan players, again, Kavanagh brought this up, that they went too heavy on loans, and not just loans, just straight loans. And Kevin Thelwell mentioned this in his Rangers TV interview. He said that the loans that you're looking to bring in do have the option or obligation to buy at the end of it. Only Derek Cornelius has that option at the end of the season. Of all those loan players, now this is usually factored into loans, season-long loans with most clubs, is that there is a recall option in January. If I'm Rangers, I'm looking to exercise those loans. Apart from the Derek Cornelius one, I'd be keeping him, see more from him and making an assessment on him in the summertime. The rest of them can go back, Blair. They don't have what it takes to be at Rangers for me, and I would be looking to move all those on.
Yeah, I seen quite a lot of comments similar to that last night on social media, where people are saying, like, if there is an option to send these players back, if there's an option to end these early, let's just cut our losses and move on. I think you look at the likes of Max Aarons, he's really not set the hair on fire. He's really had a really tough start to life at Rangers. You look at Nasser Giga, a lot of people thought he was quite promising in the early games. He's really struggled since. He's not really managed to nail down that centre-half position. It looks very uncomfortable next to John Souttar. I just think they're the square pegs and round holes. It just doesn't really work, putting John Souttar on his wrong side to accommodate the Wolves man. And then you've got the likes of Mikey Moore, who Tottenham fans are very vehement in their defence of Mikey Moore, saying that he is a very good player, he's a very promising young player, and he has a big future in the game, but he just hasn't shown it at Rangers either. And again, I don't think this is the right environment, particularly to develop these players. I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it works for the player, and I don't think it works for Rangers either. I'm not saying that these players are bad players or they're not trying, or it's not that at all. I think they're good players, but just this is not the right circumstances for this at all. It has to be seasoned guys who know what they're doing to dig Rangers out of this hole, because Rangers can't afford any luxury players at the minute. Anybody that's not entirely at the top of their game all the time.
No, and come ahead of Sunday, I'm wanting changes in that team. Alistair, with the point, says Curtis needs to play and play now. I'd be playing young Finlay. I'd actually be playing Connor Barron, Lyle Cameron as well, would be in my starting 11 also. Rangers need guys that are going to dig and run all day and put a tackle in. There's so many in that team, certainly last night, that were just going through the motions, and it told. Danny Rule certainly will have learned a lot from what he witnessed last night. I just hope that he makes big calls on the selection choices, or else he'll just go the same way as previous managers have gone as well. So, Kilmarnock on Sunday, Blair, are you expecting an improvement in performance levels? It's hard to see where Rangers go, as I said there, but I mean, it's his first home game in charge. Do you see him making many alterations to the team? Are Rangers capable of beating a Kilmarnock side that will be no doubt well organised, well drilled under Stuart Kettlewell?
Well, we're going to do a show touching on this game a little bit later on over the weekend, Eric. So I don't want to get into it too much just now, but I expect to see changes in the personnel. Absolutely, I think that Danny Rule will have used these opening games to try and see as many of the players in action as possible and see what he's working with, really. And I expect to see, like you said, Lyle Cameron, I think, is a certainty to come back into this side. I think Finlay Curtis as well was very much warranted to have a shout to start this game, because he's looked really promising when he's been on the park. He looked as though he's made things happen when he's been on the park. So it'll be really interesting to see what Danny Rule comes up with on Sunday afternoon. I know last season I covered a lot of Motherwell. I spoke to Stuart Kettlewell a lot. He's a good operator. He's a good coach. He'll come to Ibrox with a plan, and he'll know exactly what he'll want to do. And if Rangers aren't up to it, that will be another team in the Scottish Premiership who can exploit Rangers' weaknesses by just executing a plan properly, by just going through what they know how to do, doing the basics very well. And we've seen it so many times this season that teams have managed to get results against Rangers just by doing the basics and just by being a team, which Rangers look so far away from right now.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It really is. Right, that will do us there. Big thank you to you all for tuning into the show, folks. Love this. Robert Burns gets in touch with us. What's the realpolitik of all of this? We're missing Johnny. That's one of his buzzwords. But you can go and watch, incidentally, that post-match reaction video myself and Johnny did after the game last night, if you can stomach it, folks. There you go. Incidentally, you played at the James Tab. In fact, before we wrap up, I've seen this on social media, Blair, and it reminded me of the old office training day that you see doing the rounds on social media when something bad happens, and you see the Brent going, go get the guitar. An image of Rangers' fourth kit has been doing the rounds. So this orange number here, that's I've not been on social media since we've been on air, so I don't know if Rangers have started to promote it, but this image of the Rangers' fourth kit is out there, which is an all orange number. Go get the orange kit. It seems like
go and get the orange kit. That'll cheer everyone up. That'll make everything better. As it goes, I quite like it. I think it's quite a nice shirt, but unfortunately, in the current climate, every shirt is tarred with the team that plays in it, unfortunately, and I don't think these kits are going to go down in the annals of history as some of the most successful, put it that way.
No. In terms of orange kits that Rangers have had back in the day, I did like the 93-94 away, that the striped blue and orange one. Incidentally, I've seen that there's an Italian team that have brought out, I can't remember what team it is, but they've brought out an orange and blue striped number, and it looks absolutely fantastic. That would have been a cracking Rangers jersey for me. I can't remember what club it is. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. But the one they brought out...
That striped one. I know they brought out a rework version of that. Castle did a few years ago. But that original Adidas one from 92, 93, 92, 93, 93, 94. I'm not sure exactly.
93, 94 it was.
93, 94. That's up there with my favourite Rangers kits of all time. I actually still have an original of that shirt that I bring out every so often. It really is an absolute belter. It just made better back then.
It was. Remember, Diodora had one. Remember, was it 0203 was it that they brought the orange one? I quite like that as well. And you're quite right. The Castore brought out one of the striped one recently also. But yeah, that is the new Rangers 4th kit. When they wear that, who knows, folks. But interestingly, they've never done any major promo on that. They've just whacked it on the shelves. But there you go. Right, that will do us there. Big thank you. Yeah, Hummel, DNK 1872. Yeah, Hummel brought out one as well. Remember Alfredo scoring a hat at Rugby Park in that jersey. So well done you, buddy, for bringing that to my attention.
That shirt gives me really bad memories of was it Jermaine Defoe's debut? And they played at Rugby Park, and Joe Worrell had an absolute nightmare. Yeah. That's what that shirt takes me back to, unfortunately.
Dearie me. Right, that'll do us there, folks. Thank you for tuning in as ever. Much appreciated. And remember, make sure you're subscribed to all the social media accounts. Make sure you've downloaded the app as well on Apple or Android. It's totally free. It's the best way to consume your Rangers review content. Right, there will be Connor. There's a embargoed interview with a Rangers player that will be making your way to you around noontime. For the life of me, I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, it is Connor Barron at midday today.
Right, there you go. So we'll hear from him. Right, enjoy your Friday, whatever you're doing, folks, and we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.